Alright, for the lit sign project, this is going to be our cover page for our drawing deliverables. We're going to be printing out all of our drawings. We're going to make them the same sheet size. For me, it's going to be B size. We're going to generate this drawing here. I'm going to show you how to do that. Create a new drawing file, hit create. We're going to make sure that the sheet size is B in this case. Once I've changed the sheet size, I'm going to place in my assembly view. And I want two different views. I want the front view and I want an isometric view. And I move the front view here, isometric view over here somewhere. I might need to make the isometric view smaller. The next thing we're going to do is a section view. So I'm going to use that section view, select my front view, and I want to generate a section view wherever it's appropriate on your design to try to get most of your parts. So you can see my section view that I've created. I have the switch here, there's my LED, I can see my sign, there's the battery, here's my lid. I'm getting most of the parts. Your design might be a bit different, but most of ours are going to be vertical, up and down. Once I've done that, I'm going to hide our cutting plane. Now how we do this, I right click and there's an option called show entire line. I'm going to unclick that so I can see more of my work here. Alright, one of the next steps is to place in our sign artwork. If you extruded it like I did, I've extruded my logo here into my sign, it's going to appear automatically. But if you just did 2D sketches and your work's not showing up here, what you'll need to do, you need to go to your assembly in your model browser and open it up. Find your sign part. Open that up, and then once we've done that, we're going to right click the part and hit Get Model Sketches. Once we have that, your sketches should appear. We also might need to toggle the visibility. Alright, the next thing that we're going to do is annotate overall dimensions. So we're going to have overall width, overall height, and overall depth. Do your best to line them up, make them look good. Our next thing, we're going to have a table indicating all the parts. So this table, if we're under annotate, we're going to see parts list. We're going to select that. It's going to ask us to select our file, so we want our assembly. We're going to hit OK. And we're just going to place it bottom left here. From here we're going to double click it and we're going to modify this table a little bit. On the top left hand side it's a column chooser. This is where we can add different properties and take away different properties from this table. On the right hand side, here's the properties that have been selected. I don't want descriptions, so I select it and hit remove. We do want item number, quantity, and part number. From here, let's scroll down. We're going to find volume, and we're going to add that. And we're going to find material, and we're going to add that. From here, we'll hit OK. And the table here, the material. If you've applied the material to the part, it will update there. If you haven't, it's just going to say generic. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to find all of our 3D printed parts, which are going to be the container and lid. We're going to double click and edit that material, and we're going to call it PLA plastic. The other parts where it says generic, like the LED, we know this is a plastic part. Battery connector, we know it's a plastic part. And the battery, we're just going to say it's plastic. Light switch, same thing. Just going to call it plastic. Now the sign itself, we know we are using an acrylic. So acrylic, we'll say plastic. We'll hit apply. You'll see that our table updated here. And from here, this is everything we need to add. So let's hit OK. From here, I can grab the table and move it, place it where I want to. We want it somewhere in this bottom left-hand corner. The next thing we're going to do, since we have a parts list, we're going to balloon our parts so people know which part is which. So to do that, we're going to click on the Annotate ribbon and then the Balloon tool. How Balloon works, we select a part from the drawing. We're going to click on it. We're going to click again, make a little elbow, and then right-click, Continue. So how this works, this is balloon item 7. So if we look at 7, this is my sign. And this part number here is going to be whatever you've named your part file. So if your part file names don't make sense, what you'll want to do is double-click this table and name them so that they make sense. So you might call this like acrylic sign or art sign, whatever. Make sure people understand what it might be. From here, we're going to balloon everything as best as we can. We want to try to not put these balloons on our object. And if you can elbow them, great. If not, they look fine just like this. Now, what about the parts that don't show up in that view? Like my battery connector. It's on the other side of my battery here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to balloon the battery or an object close to where that part is. Once I've done that, if I double-click that balloon, it's going to give me an override option. This is where I have to look at the parts list. My battery connector is item 3, so when I double-click here to override, I'm going to call it 3. It will update, and that lets the viewer know, hey, the battery connector is somewhere over here. Go ahead and balloon everything. Once you've ballooned all of it, here's some other things that we're going to do. Make sure your scale fills up this entire page as best you can, kind of like what mine is right now, if you haven't done so already. The next thing, we want your object to be full color. So to do that, we're going to double click that view. We're going to go in here and we're going to select the shaded option. Now color wise, your sign and your container and your switch and all your other components should use somewhat realistic colors. Now the sign, here's what I've done. Part-wise, I've used a clear material. In this case, I use clear yellow. I think yellow looks the best. You can use any other ones here if you want. Some of these do not look good on the drawing and won't print well. The clear yellow will do pretty good. You can also change the color appearance. Try not to get really funky with it. We want it to look professional. Your base, I used the lighter like gray. Your switch, I just used the black color. And if you have any other visible parts, you really shouldn't, but those are the colors that I went with. Next thing you're going to do, you're going to want to put your name on this. So that very top column, we're going to put lit sign project, put your first and last name, and then your class period. Underneath, we're going to have assembled lit sign. Make these as big as you can. From here, we're going to print this out.